Hey listeners, welcome to Fulfillment Therapy, your go-to podcast for finding deeper satisfaction in life. In today's episode, we're diving into some practical steps to get real clarity about your dream future. Learn how to stay focused on what truly matters without sacrificing your family and core values, all while keeping your goals sustainable. Discover your why and start living with more purpose and intention. Find out how to grow personally while also strengthening and positively influencing your family, friends, and community without overloading yourself or losing steam. Hey parents, welcome to Fulfillment Therapy. Do you want to raise your kids better and have a stronger marriage? Are you up late at night researching marriage and parenting tools and self-care tips? Do you start each day hoping for deeper connections and less chaos, but it ends with family arguments and going 12 different directions again? My name's Kendra, wife, mom, therapist, and growth enthusiast. It wasn't until I discovered how to fulfill my unmet needs that I was finally able to show up as my best self as a spouse and parent. I realized that by meeting my needs, I could more fully meet the needs of my family with more energy and less resentment. In this podcast, I teach parents skills like boundary setting, prioritizing personal needs, communication, and claiming ownership. Just like my clients, you'll be shocked by the improvement in your marriage, parenting, and personal life when you focus on fulfilling your important unmet needs. Ready to prioritize yourself so you can quit mentally throat punching people? Then grab those earbuds and head outside, and let's walk and talk. Welcome back, my friends. I am so glad you are here today. This episode is going to be so much fun, and I'm excited to give you these very tactical steps on what to do. And I did these exact same things recently, and it was super helpful. But before I jump into that, I wanted to tell you about the promo code for the retreat. The promo code is SAVE500. So you'll want to add that in to the sign-up form when you go on to fulfillmenttherapy.org to sign up for the retreat. Remember, save $500, and that gives you $500 off. So the price increased, but we still honor that original price if you put that in there. Save $500, so don't forget that. And very quickly, after researching all the Costa Rican retreats, ours stands out. It offers 2 to 3 times more than all the other Costa Rican retreats. It has a luxurious location, professional training, and it's still one of the most affordable options, despite the price change. But you can still secure that old price, remember, with that promo code SAVE500. This retreat is unique. While others just offer basic food and lodging and occasional yoga or meditation, we provide top-notch excursions, a like-minded community, access to leading professional resources for personal and family transformation, and even more. So seize this opportunity, sign up now at fulfillmenttherapy.org, and don't forget to bring your favorite adults. All right, now we're going to hop into this episode so I can get to all of the juicy, beautiful things that are going to help you today. I often think about my why because the why is so important to understand. I've done 1 or 2 episodes on it in the very beginning of launching my podcast, but I wanted to talk a little bit more on that because of a book I recently read and how helpful it was for me. I often wonder, why do I put so many hours into creating a business when I could get paid probably 10 times more just doing my private practice full time? So why do I sit in my dark closet most of the day, or why do I get up so early, and why do I work so hard on my goals? I was reviewing my why again when I was doing these steps that I'm going to share with you in just a minute. And I was thinking about it because it's connected to all of my goals, and it helps me take a wiser approach on the goals that I set. For those of you that haven't heard me mention this before, my youngest sibling, Jamin, passed away not too long ago, and it was very sudden and tragic. And he was this tender, amazing soul. And he died barely having lived. Now, I don't mean that in years. He died in his early 30s. But he was someone who shrunk away from life largely because of the tragedies that he experienced. And after he died, I did a lot of soul searching. I discovered that I really had done the same thing, but in my own ways. I had been living small, and I let fear hold me back more than I'd like to admit. I felt like I'd grown complacent and squandered my time and my talents, and I'd been coasting through life and making way too many excuses for why I wasn't living fully. Now I can't bring my brother back, but I can change some of that tragedy to triumph by first changing myself and then helping others change. So what does that have to do with my why? Well, my why is to help people live fully and without regret. I want to help parents meet their unmet needs so they can strengthen their family bonds especially. Now, I know that my brother would still be alive today if he'd found a way to heal and meet those unmet needs. We talked about that in our last conversation together, and maybe that conversation was too late. I'm not sure. I wish I could have been the one to help him find greater fulfillment and joy in his life, but I couldn't. So now I feel like my life mission is to help others do so before it's too late. Now, this doesn't mean that I think that everyone's lives will end or anything like that, but I don't want them to waste time. As a matter of fact, I was listening to a book this morning called Who Not How, and he said something in it that I found really interesting. He said, "Hell is your last day on earth when your present self meets the self you could have been." And that really hit me, and I feel like that's kind of what I'm saying. I do everything in my power to make it so that clients don't experience that hell, even if it's not their last day on earth. Say it was. I don't want them to ever feel that ache and that sorrow for not really reaching and becoming who they could have become. Having a why or a purpose, that's another word for it, is important, but it really does take some reflection to figure it out. I'm still refining mine, and sometimes it changes and adapts the more that we learn, which is why I'm also so gung-ho about learning. I love to learn and solidify that vision. So if you're not sure what your why is or how to create the right goals that will actually make an impact, today's episode is going to help you figure this out. You're going to need a journal and a pen, so get prepared for that in a little bit. But this will also start you on the path towards your ideal future. There really is no time to waste, and tomorrow is never certain. I know the story of my brother is somewhat extreme, and many of you probably have not experienced something like that. So if you find that it's a little difficult to discover your why and your purpose, this exercise will help even if you didn't have this big tragic event like maybe a sibling passing away or a loved one passing away, but you will be able to find it through this. The book that I read that walked me through these exercises was The Ultimate Jim Rohn Library. So it was essentially the best of in all of his things. And he was a successful businessman, author, keynote speaker, and he mentored people like Tony Robbins. Whenever I read books that are really impactful, I try to find out who inspired them, and then I go read those things. So this is how I stumbled upon Jim Rohn. Even though he was more popular a while ago, I want to learn all that I can. So that's why I went and looked him up. All right. This is the meat of the episode. I just have 11 questions that you'll want to write down in your journal and do the work. So grab that journal or make a note in your phone if you're out walking so you can reference this later for each one. And like I said, I did all of these myself, and they worked wonders for creating clarity and helping me refine my why in easy ways. So answer these questions. Jim Rohn was a massively influential and successful person for over 40 years, and these questions will create inspiration and momentum in your life. They will help you build your ideal future and help those you love, as well as improve your relationships. Again, I'm going to give you 11 questions and also 5 of my favorite quotes that I came across in this book. Remember them, use them, answer these questions. His first quote goes really well with this. He said, "Do these things before the feeling passes and the idea gets dim. You need prompt action. If you don't, the law of diminishing intent happens. If you don't transform it into action soon, intent diminishes and it won't happen. Do you want it to happen, my friends? Then grab that journal. All right, I've been on my soapbox enough. Here's another quote by Jim Rohn. His mentor, I believe his name is Mr. Schoaf. I don't really know how to pronounce his name. We'll just call him Mr. Schoaf. He said, Mr. Schoaf asked to see a list of goals. I said, I don't have a list. Now remember, this is Jim Rohn, massively successful man. If you don't have a list of goals, I can guess your bank account within a few $100s. So that's what he said back, which he did. That got my attention. I said, you mean if I had a list of goals, that would change my bank balance? He said, drastically. That said, I became a student of how to set goals. Isn't that so powerful? I am definitely a student of how to set goals, and it has been a game changer since I became committed in goal setting. Here's another one. Neglect starts an infection, and if you don't take care of it, then it becomes a disease. One neglect leads to another. When it starts, it diminishes our self-worth, our self-confidence, our self-value. Do you notice that? Do you notice that as you neglect something, it starts to become bigger like a disease, and then it leaks into other areas of our life? And in doing so, it diminishes our confidence. I've absolutely noticed that in myself and in my clients. Here's another great one. The best gift you can give to others, really, is your ongoing personal development. Get better, get stronger, become wiser. And this goes along with what I was saying before. Sorry, this is me interjecting. About the airplane metaphor. He says the same thing. If you have ever ridden in an airplane, then you might have noticed the oxygen compartment located above every seat. There are explicit instructions that say, in case of an emergency, secure your own mask before helping others. Take care of yourself first. If we use that same philosophy throughout our whole life, it would be so valuable. I think parents should pick up this valuable philosophy. If the parents are okay, the kids have an excellent chance of being okay. If you learn to create happiness, your kids have an excellent chance of being happy. Self-development enables you to serve, to be more valuable to those around you, for your child, for your colleague, for your business, for your community. That's why I teach self-development skills. If you keep refining all the parts of your character, yourself, your health, so that you become an attractive person, you'll attract opportunity. Okay, I know that was a really big quote, but he's really saying exactly what I've been saying. And it can be a very controversial subject, like that one line. How did he say it? Take care of yourself first. I think most people would just have a heart attack with that. Like that, those are big words when we have a family, when we have other people we love so much. But what I've come to find is that doesn't mean it's a selfish thing. It means that we recognize we cannot control other people, and how we make the most impact is by being an example. And it is by rooting out those character flaws in ourselves. It's about humbling ourselves and being teachable and being the person that can stand on higher ground so that we can lift others up. And as parents, especially, what this podcast is all about is creating that so our kids and our families and our marriages have a much better chance of success. So stop pointing that finger towards others and start pointing at yourself and wondering what you can do to change. Instead of it being this selfish pursuit about me, it's instead, how can I heal? How can I grow so I can help those around me? Because I can't change them, but I can change me. Okay, there's one last quote, and this goes along with it. I'm often asked the question, how can I help someone else change, improve, or be better? My answer often comes as a surprise, and here it is. The key to helping others is to help you first, just like I said a minute ago. In other words, the best contribution I can make to someone else is my own personal development. If I become 10 times wiser or 10 times stronger, think of what that will do for my adventure as a father, as a business colleague, as a friend. And again, Those can be big words, like what he said here is the key to helping others is to help you first. Does that stir something in you? Does that feel uncomfortable? Well, I just encourage you to explore that. Only you and your higher power can determine whether your intentions are really benefiting others or not, or if they are selfish and harming others. Do you put your needs ahead of others and think that you are ultimately more deserving? Or do you put yours even below and think you're less deserving? Or are you treating one another equally where you are all trying to improve and become your best self without trying to control the other people? Those were a few of his quotes, and I'll include even more in the show notes that I'll mention that are fun ones as well. And now I'm going to give you the 11 questions that I want you to put in your journal. These are so good, I promise you. I took 2 or 3 days to write down these 11 questions in my journal, and I just took about 20 or 30 minutes each day and wrote these things out, and I really enjoyed these exercises. It's not work. It's actually quite enjoyable. And this time of year is the perfect time to do these things. All right, number 1, write 50 things you want that will really do it for you. Here's what I mean by that. He said this is not just outlandish things that really don't make much of a difference for you, but the thing that would really bring you joy and satisfaction in your life if you could do those 50 things before you die. Now, they don't have to all be like world peace or anything like that, but you personally, what would you really like? Maybe, like I've mentioned before, I want to write a children's book and illustrate it. I want to design my own goal planners and publish those. I want to do a TED Talk. I want to get a PhD, like those types of things. I want to live with my family abroad more often, like once a year. I want to learn Spanish really well, those types of things. Whatever it might be. Number 2, write the number 1, 3, 5, or 10 next to each one of these 50 things for how many years it will take you to accomplish it. So this is just an estimation. If it's going to take more than 10 years, just go ahead and write 10 years. It's an approximation for the other questions. Number 3, for each one of the 1, 3, 5, and 10-year goals, write which 5 are most important to you. So it's like the top 5 of each of those categories. Number 4, under each of those 5 goals, so again, that's like for 1-year goals, you have your top 5. For 3-year goals, you have your top 5. For 5-year goals and for 10-year goals, same thing. So under each of these 5, write why these 5 goals are so important to you. You should get an idea in those of your values and the things that really make you feel the most alive, because these are the most important things to you. Number 5, write what kind of person you need to become to achieve these top things. And number 6 kind of goes along with that, but it's more specific. Number 6, what skills do you need to develop in order to achieve those things? Like maybe it's more a specific business skill or a financial skill or a certain program you want to learn or something like that. Number 7, who will be helped if I achieve those things, and how will they be helped? Jim Rohn talked a lot about how important this is, because if we are not focused on those people as well, it's very easy to let those things go by the wayside and to get distracted and not achieve those goals. But if we focus on who it's going to help and the ripples it will create, it is much easier to stay stalwart. All right, friends, these are the last 4, and they're very brief and they're very powerful. So after you've looked at all of these things, you've done the first 7 questions. Ask yourself this: why should I try? Number 2, which is actually number 9 as well. Why not? Just jot down a few thoughts about that. Why shouldn't you try? Number 3, why not me? Why can't I be the person that does that and that helps those people and that carries that out. And the fourth one is, why not now? Don't you just get the chills when you read those? Those are really powerful. If you believe in a higher power, I do. I've mentioned that many times before, and I call him Heavenly Father. I just think about him saying that to me, or Jesus Christ. Can you just imagine his voice? Why should you try? Why not? Why not you? Why not now? We have so much potential for good if we will not get in our own way. My friends, I hope you do these exercises because they are pivotal in moving you a step closer to becoming your best self and a step closer towards improving your relationship with your children and with your spouse and with yourself. I can't wait to hear what you do with it because it's going to be incredible, just like it has been in my life and in the lives of my clients. I know that these things work, and I know that you'll be better able to build your ideal future and make a lasting difference while you are parenting and not waiting until after the kids move out. That is all for today, my friends. Just a reminder about Costa Rica. There is a 6-day, 6-night stay in Costa Rica, June 16th through the 22nd. It is for couples, women, and men. It's just an adult retreat with different luxurious villas overlooking the bay. There's a private chef. There's an expert team. There's yoga sessions, daily movement, nature experiences, immersive training to elevate your relationships and your personal life. There's elegant, spacious rooms. It's a short walk from a beautiful, quiet beach. And there's breathtaking excursions like zip lining, hanging bridges, rainforest walks, a 1,500-foot jungle water slide, waterfall hikes, hot springs, volcanic mud baths, snorkeling with sea life, sailing, surfing, aquatic adventures, saunas, and so much more. There's breakthrough fulfillment workshops, integration coaching, professional resources and tools, expert feedback, and materials that will take your life to the next level. Not only that, but I have recently revamped my Facebook group, and I'm giving away so many free resources there, and I will continue to. All the things that I'm learning, all the things that I'm taking to my clients, all the things that have been really effective, I am going to be posting in that group. It's a private group, so go ahead and check out the show notes, and there is a link to that you can just click on, but it's bit.ly/fulfillment therapy. And you can click on that and that'll take you to the Facebook group. Otherwise, I'm also on Instagram at Fulfillment Therapy, and you can check out the website with all that information as well at fulfillmenttherapy.org. Have a fantastic week, my friends, and I will see you back here in just a few days. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, chances are someone else would too. Would you take 30 seconds to share this with a friend who's looking for greater family fulfillment? And while you're sharing, tell me what you think about the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. It refuels me when I hear this podcast is helping you. No matter what your house or your hair looks like, I'll meet you back here every Monday and Thursday morning for more episodes. Until then.